Good evening, YouTube. This is Killing Strain coming at you with the third in my 2020 Ration Mashup series. And I'll go ahead and say a few things as I wait for people to come in. For those that have never seen my series last year when I did the first round of ration mashups, what I basically do is I take components from various U.S. and foreign rations and I mix them up to create completely different meals. And so I will have probably a couple of more of these at my usual time. There's Southern Ohio Prepping is in the house. I just came on, so thanks for dropping in. So as I was saying, I have a couple more of these that is basically my regular time of 6 p.m. U.S. Central. And once Ramadan starts, I will go later because I will not eat until after sunset when I finish my fasting for the day. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull out what I have on the menu tonight. This is Tuscan beef with cannellini beans, lentils, and vegetables. So this will go into the pot on the stove. This is from MRE Store. And it has an inspection date of 22. So it will have would have a little bit of life in it, left in it, but I'm going to eat it. And then that's then for dessert I have, it's called ginger pudding, and it's from a British ORP. And unlike an American pudding, as you can see, it's a block like a cake. And it's in a sauce. And these are usually heated. So what I might do is, after I take the main out of the pot, I might just put this in to allow it to warm up for a little bit. And then for a cold drink, I have a Canadian raspberry. So I'm looking forward to trying that. And that will go in the old drinking jar. And then to go along with the Tuscan beef, I have some rice. This is pre-cooked dry rice, so just add water. And although the instructions here say to use the white accessory bag from an MRA Nation ration, I do not have any of those because the ones that I've had, I have repurposed those and used them for food storage. So what I will do, I will take hot water, pour it into this metal bowl. I'll put the rice in, pour the boiling water in, and then I'll just slap this lid on it and allow it to sit like that for the few minutes it says to sit for the rice to reconstitute. So that's how I'll do that. Then in addition, I have the rest of the crisp bread that I opened up a couple weeks ago. I've just been storing them in this Ziploc bag to keep them fresh. And I have Russian peanuts. These are pretty good peanuts. They're not quite up there with Nutwalker or the British peanuts, but these aren't too bad. And to go on the crackers, or the crisp bread, Russian apple butter, Dub C's in the house. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to warm up the ginger pudding. And then for my hot drink, I have had some of this tea before. It's hibiscus tea. I got this at Hillel Groceries, and it will go in my Foreign Emery mug, and it will be red. It actually looks like wine once it's brewed, and because I like it a little sweet, I'm going to drop some sugar in it. So I'll just go ahead and put that in the mug. So that is going to be my dinner for tonight, and I just used this Halal MRE bag to keep all the stuff in, because I just sorted all the stuff into different bags. So I just have to grab one when I want to make a meal. So I'm going to go ahead and put this Tuscan beef in boiling water. And then I will also have the hot water for the rice. So I'm going to go ahead and put this little bowl here. In fact, actually, before I put this in the pot on the stove, I'm going to go ahead and open up this rice. And dump it in here. It's basically like the minute rice. So half a cup of boiling water in there, and slap that on. And I'll put this tea bag in here. So as you can see through the tea bag, it is kind of a red color. So I will go put this in the hot water, and then I'll be right back. Just going to give that a bit of a mix. I'll put this back here. There is no actual regular tea, black or green tea in here. It is purely the hibiscus flower petals. And that's how it gets this red color. So I will put that back there. And now I will mix up this raspberry drink. Just got a bottle of cold water out of my fridge. It's a nice pink color. I'll fill it up to about there. And I'll go ahead and put that right there. There's the peanuts opened up. And I'm going to go ahead and take the crisp breads out of here. Just dump the crumbs right down there. Oops, there's a few more crumbs left in there. That's good enough. I will probably end up mixing some of the rice in with the Tuscan beef, or and I might have some of it separate. I'll decide that later once I get a look at it. Just ripping a tiny bit off of the apple butter. I'll just squeeze it onto one of these crisp breads that are fuller. And I put a little bit on there. On that little piece. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and nibble on this, see how this apple butter tastes on this crisp bread. That does taste pretty good. Grab a handful of these peanuts. They're salted, they're roasted, but they could probably use a little bit more roasting. But other than that, those are pretty good peanuts. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat. Now there's James Ortiz is in the house. Hidden Numismatist is in the house. And got Jesse in the house. And for those that maybe don't know, I don't celebrate Easter because I'm a Muslim. So I hope that does not bother anyone, but see who else is in. Yep, so you can wish everybody else happy Easter. I just don't acknowledge it. So I'm going to take a taste of this raspberry drink. Ooh, there's Jay in the house. Drop in. The raspberry is not strong in that drink, but it's not too sweet, which is nice. So for those that just dropped in, I have Tuscan beef with cannellini beans, lentils, and vegetables on the stove. And I'm about to go put this British ginger pudding on the stove. And under this lid is the instant rice from Ration. And I just got that rehydrating in a bowl underneath this lid from a mess kit, because I don't have the right kind of bag to reconstitute the rice in, because I used up those bags for other things. And I'll tell you, this ginger pudding is heavy. It's 200 grams total weight. It may not be enough, but if you put ginger in hot tea, or if you drink ginger ale or other ginger soda or ginger beer, that has worked for a lot of people. When I was working as a home health aide, I had a client who had a lot of stomach issues, and she drank a lot of ginger ale, and Canada Dry was the brand that worked best for her. So, yeah, if you put some ginger in some hot tea, that should work. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and add this to the pot to get this warmed up. I'll boil it. I'll just shut the stove off and just put this in the pot and put the lid on it for a few minutes, and that should up. I am back. I got the ginger pudding in the pot on the stove, and I just poured the rest of the water that was in my teapot in there on top of that ginger pudding pouch. I'm going to go ahead and check this rice, see if it has reconstituted. Yep, it has rehydrated. So I'm going to put some of it here. And then the rest I'm just going to put right here. And that rice tastes like it's fully cooked. I just licked what was left off my spork. And I just use this to carry the entree in, and I will take it back when I go get the ginger pudding. I'm just shaking this down. The terra notch runs this way. Foreignemery.com is in the house. Nope, it's not sticky, which is good. It's not the sticky rice. So it's quite soupy, as you saw, just all poured out. So this will, the rice will absorb some of this. Just reposition the tray so it's a little bit more centered. I'll put that back there for when I get the ginger pudding. Go ahead and give a taste of this. It kind of reminds me of a minestrone soup flavor. A Bone Jard is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Not quite, Chef. You know, this is not a home-cooked meal, far from it. But there's a close-up look at a cannellini bean and a piece of the beef. The cannellini beans are very soft. Would be nice if they were just a little bit firmer. And the lentils are also quite soft. See, there's probably a tiny bit of carrot. But other than that, it's not too bad. It just reminds me of a minestrone. The beef is like a shredded or a pulled beef. It's not quite the consistency of ground beef. But still nice little bites. Yeah, it's still not too bad. I'm gonna take a drink of, let's see, my hibiscus tea. The tea bag is ready to come out. And yes, I'm a tea bag squeezer. See, it looks like a burgundy wine. And I gave some of this to Tack at the memorial camp. You know, hibiscus is supposed to be good for diabetics, to help them regulate their blood sugar or other factors. I don't know a whole lot behind it, but I decided, you know, she might want to try it because, you know, and plus it's interesting. It's a nice flavor. I've had hibiscus drink cold, but when I got this, I had never had it hot before, so I figured I'm going to try it. And I happen to like it. So I decided to share, give her some. Don't know if she's tried it yet, but I gave her a few bags to try, so she can have more than one cup of it. Gonna have another bite of this crisp bread. I like the combination of the wheat, the texture and the flavor of the wheat, and apple butter. It's a sweet and savory thing, and I think that's pretty good. Check the chat again, see if no, I'm not going to be on Chopped. For one thing, I do not have knife skills like a seasoned chef. And I don't get to practice that at the mosque because we're not doing nightly iftar dinners during Ramadan. Because it starts before, like, the last week of April, but we still have the closure orders at least till April 30th. And unless things really start to dramatically improve, that may be extended. So we have basically just canceled all activities at the mosque, as in most other houses of worship, although some in other states are risking the lives of their members. by, you know, not practicing the social distancing thing. But, you know, we're not doing much, and, you know, there could be more closures and restrictions starting next week. You know, we'll find out tomorrow what our governor says. And as of today, Des Moines City buses are running less often. They've cut back even more than what they have been. But, you know, some routes have been completely suspended. And there are a few others that what are called flex routes or on-call routes. They basically feed the regular routes. Those are remaining the same because they're not on a time schedule anyway. They're just on an as-needed basis. But most other routes are running on a Saturday schedule, so some only once an hour, and a couple others maybe twice an hour instead of 3 or 4 times an hour. And of course, Sunday hours are short anyway, so they're basically a Saturday service minus a few hours, so nothing changes on Sunday. And I didn't go out today because I didn't need to. I went grocery shopping yesterday. You know, trying to get as much shopping done since I'll be eating more meals at home. You know, once Ramadan starts, I won't be eating at the mosque. So I've been loading up on some stuff that I want to have, so I don't have to dip into my food storage. Although I will get into some of my 2019 canned foods. I will go into that, so that I can start using some of those up. But some other things I wanted to have, like, you know, I got me some more tortillas. I got me some pasta. Got me some more rice. And I got me a big old tub of dates. And I ordered some groceries on Amazon. So this is my first time doing that. So we'll see how that goes. And the delivery times of those really doesn't matter to me because, you know, they'll come in when they're needed, and I'll just go ahead and start using them as they come in. So I'll start off with what I have now, and then I'll just incorporate those things as they come in. And the grocery store that I went to had arrows on the ground and some posted either on aisle end caps or posts, basically turning the aisles into one-way streets. But not everybody that was in their shopping was following those. And granted, if no one else is in a given aisle, they'll just go any way they want. And I did that, but if there are other people in a given aisle, then I would just go to the next one. You know, of course, I kind of went up and down to try to look for whatever I wanted because I normally don't shop at that store. I'm used to going to others, but I wanted to see what they had for what I needed, and I was able to get most of what I needed, but or what I wanted to have, but I can get the rest later on because once I get that so-called stimulus check, if I get it this coming week, then I can just go get the rest. You know, I am anticipating a full formal lockdown here in Iowa. And I want to have everything in place before that happens. And of course, I can order some stuff online, which I will do. And I can pay bills online, although I'm paid up for this month. But I think I'm going to go ahead and make an advance payment on a couple, just for the heck of it. And that's pretty much how I'm going to do that. Oh, we have someone else joining in. Dan is in the house. Thanks for dropping by. This is Tuscan beef with cannellini beans, lentils, and vegetables. Although the vegetables are really hard to find in this. And I have it on instant rice. So this is quite soupy, so putting it on the rice to me just made sense. It tastes like a minestrone, but without some of the usual minestrone ingredients. So minestrone usually has like barley or buckwheat, but the rice is a substitute for it, I guess. And it was an instant rice that I just rehydrated. This is a crisp bread with Russian apple butter. In fact, I'm going to squeeze a few bit more out onto here. This stuff is so good. I love it. And I got slightly roasted and salted Russian peanuts. And this is a Canadian raspberry drink. It's not a strong flavor, but it's still good. It's not overly sweet. And this red is hibiscus tea. I added some sugar to it. It's pure hibiscus. It's the flower of the hibiscus plant that is used to get the flavor and the color. And I got it from Hillel Groceries, which is I get some my halal meats from. I get other things from. I bought last week, among other things. So I made a run there to pick up some other groceries that I can use later this month and the next month. So plus I'm friends with the owners, so that helps too. But I was in the stores. I did see toilet paper, and of course I'm not buying any. I can go through at least till May with toilet paper, just what I have in the bathroom. You know, I can go through the rest of this month, and that's before dipping into my storage in my closet to get more. So. Yep, when you build your stock up a bit every so often, trying to panic buy all at once, that way you don't have to worry about it. And when I was in Walgreens, the last time I was in Walgreens to pick up a couple items from there, I saw the little tiny hand sanitizers that were probably about that long, but I did not buy any of those because I don't need it. I'm stocked on hand sanitizer. The only thing I do not have is a whole bunch of I don't have very many just basic surgical masks. So this afternoon I fashioned up a mask with a handkerchief, a coffee filter, and a couple of hair ties. So I think next time I go out, instead of wearing one of the few basic surgical mask that I have. I'll try that one out and see how that works. See, this rice came out fluffy. It did not stick to itself. It came out of the bowl really easily when I was putting it onto the tray. I did not season it because I figured I would be mixing at least some of it in here. Yep, that's yeah, this here is it's from foreignemery.com. See if I can get this thing to focus on it. Doesn't want to. This thing doesn't always want to focus, but yes, this slightly serrated edge. If I had a bigger piece of meat, or when I get into that ginger pudding, then I can use this edge here to cut this. You know, to cut that piece. But when you eat with it, it's not so sharp that it bothers the inside of your mouth or your tongue. But of course, I'm using this end. Yeah, you can get these on foreignemery.com. If you buy one of the ammo can gift boxes, you get one of these in it, along with some stickers and whatever ration items are in there. So I bought another one of those, and I got the 3 hot weather Moors in there, and those will make an appearance later on in the year. So I'll sit on those for a while. And that 24-hour Z ration that I got from allemerys.com, I will sit on that one till later in the year. And I still have that box of 14 low-sodium Sopaco rations. I'll get into those after Ramadan. Those were packed in 2016, or they have a inspection date of 2016, one of those. Yeah, I think it's the inspection date of 2016. So, as I was looking for something else on eBay, I saw those same ones selling for almost $100 for that case of 14 Sopaco rations. And I got mine for $35, including shipping off of emerymarketplace.com. I don't know if they still have any of those left or if all those are gone. And they just grab cases at random to ship out. So I could have got a 2017 or 2018 or whatever. I don't know. I just got a 2016, so it'll be interesting to see how those held up over the years. Since I got all these crumbs from the crisp breads, I might sprinkle these in. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Give it a little crunch. And maybe a little extra texture, because everything in here is so soft. The meat has the firmest texture of all of it in here. I don't think that's good enough for now. Just mix that in. Basically like adding a shredded wheat, crumbled up shredded wheat into there. It helps a bit, but not as much as I thought it would, but I'll still finish it off. Yeah, I could have brought in some extra seasonings, but I deliberately don't do that. I just choose to eat things, when I'm doing these, I just go with what I have in the bag. And you just leave it at that. Although maybe one of these days I might go ahead and take one of my meal bags and add a few extra goodies to it. Just depends on what I feel like doing. For the one that has instant potatoes in it, I think I still have one more that has instant potatoes in it. I might get some butter and add to that. Grab a few more of these peanuts. I could put these peanuts in there for a little crunch. In fact, I might do that. There we go. Toss in a few of these peanuts. That does add a little bit of crunch and a tiny bit of salt, since the peanuts were salted. I probably won't add the rest of the peanuts right now. I may just leave them separate, but as I said earlier, these Russian peanuts, they're not roasted as much as the nut walkers or, the British peanuts. When they do the roasted ones, or when you get peanuts and other rations that are roasted, you can see how light in color they are. That's on the outside. But they're still good peanuts. They're a whole lot better than getting peanuts that are neither roasted or salted. And of course, this Russian apple, this stuff is really good. And speaking of sweet stuff, I'm going to go get the ginger pudding out of the pot and put that on the tray and see what that looks like. I'm just going to dry it off. I'm going to squeeze the actual cake out first. Actually, I think I'll use my spork. There is a sauce in here, so I'm going to go ahead and... So there is the cake itself. And then look at all that sauce that's still in there. So, but I think there's enough sauce that on there right now. So, again, there's a serrated side or edge. Go ahead and take a bite of this. The cake is very, very soft. In fact, that's what it looks like on the inside. It's very moist. It's almost like an extra thick custard, like a custard that has a whole lot of a gelling agent in it. But the flavor is really, really good. I can see why whoever gets these just go nuts for them. So I'm actually going to put my paper towel down there just to catch any drips that I might have in case I choose to put the rest of the sauce on there. But yeah, that is what the ginger pudding looks like. Again, this is a British pudding that's more of a cake than an American or French pudding. You know, if you're all familiar with Jello pudding or the puddings you get in French rations, yeah, this is a totally different thing than that. So, and just sitting in that hot water kept it quite warm. I might I should pour a little bit of the sauce it's about like that. There is a close-up of the sauce. That is some good dessert sauce. It's getting into there, so better get that out of there. But that is some very, very good dessert sauce. The ginger is not real strong. You know, it wouldn't be strong enough to give any medicinal benefit, but the flavor is there, so that is definitely a good dessert. So it's really awesome to get something like that I've never had before. I'm going to check that chat real quick. Yep. Yes. Stores here. But I know they do this in Canada, and I'm pretty sure in other countries. What a lot of grocery stores do is they have their first hour set aside for the elderly and people with compromised immune systems. And sometimes they'll include other disabled people. And they may have reduced hours. And they may put arrows marking direction of travel in the aisles if the store's big enough to do that. I haven't been into any other stores that, any other grocery stores that have done that since I heard that that they might be doing that. But next week, probably I'll go check out another grocery store just to see how things are going there. And, the pharmacies are not, I have not seen lines on the floor in the 2 Walgreens that I've recently been in, other than 6-foot marks that they just put a piece of tape on, like painter's tape on the floor at 6-foot intervals. And for those that use metric, they would do 2-meter intervals. But yeah, those markings I have seen. And usually I will keep more of a distance than that if I can get away with it. Just because that's what I feel like doing. And, and when you ride buses, you'll hear announcements over the bus's voice box, as well as signs posted in the bus and at our DART station to, keep 6 feet apart. But you can't always do that because, more people might be riding the bus than can spread out that much. But, most of the time it works. But with a lot fewer people riding buses, it's easier to keep a distance if you feel like you need to, but sometimes it doesn't always work. But bus rides are free since people are supposed to go in the back door of the bus instead of the front door, unless you're in need of the ramp or you can't step up high enough because the back end of the bus doesn't kneel or drop down like the front end. I don't know how many people have seen kneeling buses where the front end of the bus will literally lower to accommodate either someone who can't step as high or so that the driver can put the ramp out to allow for a person with a wheelchair or a scooter or someone with a walker to go in who can't step that high. So those people go in the front door. But the bus drivers are just doing a tally thing on their keypads every time they pick up people. But other than going out for groceries or to drugstores or doctor's office, doctor visits, which has also been and I have a doctor's appointment later this month, and it'll be done over the phone. So, and that's basically, it's a med check, so I can get authorization from the doctor to keep taking some of the meds that I do, and then he'll just reauthorize all the other ones as well when I need them. But yeah, the one I have to get a reauthorization every 2 months. It's one of the pain meds that I take, and the others I can get quite a few refills, but I can get most of the others in a 90-day supply. Or my nasal spray, I can, if I use it every day, I get 2 months out of it. So yeah, but if I don't use that one every day, I can go a lot longer. But I still refill those that way. If there comes a time when the supply of that is so low that I can't get a refill when I normally would, I already have a supply that I built up. So, sorry, that was my computer did some chime noise. I have my screen blacked out, so because I'm not on it, I don't even have a browser up. But yeah, I do have home internet now, so it's the Wi-Fi is a lot better. I have not had a cutout once, which is good. So, and I'm streaming on my Galaxy, and it has not decided to crap out on me. Go for another drink of my hibiscus tea. So that's pretty much how it's going here. But yeah, here in Iowa, we had 77 new cases, but yeah, we had we had like 9 deaths reported today. Although the new case number is lower than it has been in the past couple of days, you know, we may not have hit our spike yet. We may not have peaked. It could just be the way it goes, and you know, testing is still very limited here in Iowa. So, although I would like my mother to get tested, the fact that she has been keeping at home, not going out. My sisters have been getting her whatever she needs so that she can stay home. You know, she'll be 80 in a couple of years, so you know, she does not want to take the test right now, even if she could. So she's just basically holding up in her apartment and just watching TV, communicating on Facebook, using the closed captioning on the TV when even with her hearing aids, she has trouble hearing it. You know, she does have hearing aids. She got those last year, which I'm very happy about. Otherwise, phone communication would be next to impossible. Yeah, I have heard a whole bunch about New Orleans, that it's getting really bad down there. And I just hope the response down there to this big nasty is a whole lot better than it was for Katrina. I mean, that was an absolute abomination what happened after that hurricane. So I hope things start looking up everywhere, but you know, personally, I think the governor should issue a formal stay home or shelter in place order, since we may not have hit our spike yet, and people are still traveling. We have not told people to not come into Iowa, so truckers have to go through. I don't know about interstate bus service. We have Amtrak here, but there's, the closest station for Amtrak is like an hour and a half away. So that's not even an option for someone like me who does not drive if I wanted to take a train somewhere. I can't do that unless someone drives me to that town that has an Amtrak stop. So I just don't bother. But, our local farmers markets are not going to open up at the beginning of May as what originally would be. And a lot of events have been canceled or postponed. No minor league baseball here. No arena football here for who knows how long. I have not heard anything about the Iowa State Fair, which usually takes place the third week of August. Or basically the middle of August. I have not heard if that will go on. County fairs, which usually happen earlier, have probably been canceled or delayed. But as far as the Iowa State Fair, I don't know how that's going to work. I didn't go last year. I went the year before when my sisters and I and my great niece went with my mom, and we basically had a girls' day out, so to speak. Yeah, that's good that things are going good there. It's just a matter of getting testing supplies, personal protective equipment. Tack from AOK Foraging and Adventures, who works with an organization that runs some group homes. They are in need of masks and face shields, and I don't know how they have been faring as far as that kind of a thing. But if you've watched her videos lately, or she just posted on Facebook earlier today that she has ended her isolation since a coworker had tested positive for the virus. She isolated, but she went to work, but she was wearing, masks and gloves. But she has ended her isolation, so, she can spend more time physically with Brenda and the dogs. And, she can, she is allowing herself to go do other things. But she is still going to do what she can to, keep her distance and only go to a facility where she would actually have to work with a resident, only when necessary. Otherwise, she will simply perform her supervisory duties. But doing what else she can to keep her coworkers and residents safe. Just checking everything, making sure things are clean. Just everybody has to do their part. Going with her, so that's good news that she is not she's not holding herself up. She didn't completely quarantine herself where she would not go to work or go anywhere, just staying where she had set up a room, separate from the rest of the house. But, she's still keeping stuff there in case she has to do that. But, yeah, she has a couple of videos on her channel about how she had set that up. And some, just how things went. But if you look at that, you can get ideas on how you can set up an isolation room using what you have. She put a tarp over the windows, over some windows, so that, so that she can be concealed from other people who may look in. Yeah, she had a pretty good little setup. And she could go down into the garage or into the basement and just do what she needed to do there. So, and there are other channels, larger channels, that have shown what you would need for an isolation room if you had to do that in your home. I live in it's just me in this apartment. So if I had to quarantine myself, I wouldn't have to set up a separate room. All I would do is put something on my door saying that I'm in a quarantine. I would contact my post office to have them hold my mail and say, that I'm in quarantine, so I will not be going out to the mailbox. And because our building is secured now, if the door is not blocked open or propped open to allow people to go in and out freely, you have to have a key to get in. And because we still have renovation going on here, sometimes the door will be propped open so that the construction workers can go in and out at will. So, I had a package. I had 2 packages yesterday, and they were left in front of my door because the building door was left open because there are construction workers going in and out doing work. A company was contracted to do the work, so they're just going in and out at will and propping the door open, since they obviously don't have keys. So because of that, the delivery driver was able to just leave the packages in front of me. And I'm thankful that they did not get stolen. I've had that happen in the past, so once this big nasty is gone, I can go back to either having signature required, or what I have done with other packages, have them dropped off at, say, FedEx. I can go to a Walgreens to pick up a package. With UPS, I can go to a CVS to pick up a package. And then I could sign for it there and show my my totally fake ID, which I got straight from the DOT. and do it that way. So that's another option. But if I have to quarantine myself, I'll just have all deliveries held. Until I can pick them up. So, and just put something on my door. So that's pretty much how I would do that. But I have not needed to do that. I've just been sticking at home. I have to go to the laundromat every once in a while to do laundry because we don't have a functioning laundry room here because that room is being renovated and used. It's being used as a staging area for construction materials for the renovation. Well, that's but I'm down to 3 quarters, so I have to get some more quarters for laundry so I can go back to the laundromat and do more. So that's the only other reason why I'll be going out, other than to go to a store to pick up something that I would need and do laundry. And that's pretty much it. I don't have access to an area where I can do something outside other than my deck, but because my deck is still needing repair, I don't feel comfortable with going out there, putting my furniture back out there. And plus today it rained and then it turned to sleet. Yeah, we had sleet this afternoon. So everything will be an icy mess, and my plate of sunflower seeds that I had out for birds, well, that's ruined. I forgot to pull those in yesterday. I should have. So, is there anything else that anyone wants to ask me or chat about, or you just want to know, or just whatever? I still see 3 people in here. But otherwise, if not, I'm probably just going to go ahead and call this one good. Again, next week, I'll do this again. I'll just grab a random bag out of my box of pre-sorted meal bags and do this all again. First, I'm going to have another bite of this ginger pudding. See, it's so soft you can get it with a spoon. That is a good ginger pudding. So if anyone else, no one else has anything that they want to talk about or ask, then I'm probably just going to go ahead and call this good, because I've been on for an hour and 20 minutes with no breaks, so I'm happy about that. But again, I also want to thank Art from foreignmre.com for dropping that super chat. And for those that are not familiar with super chat, it allows a viewer to donate to a channel directly, and that money gets combined with ad revenue for monetized channels, so that every few months when I do get payment from Google, I can use that to either buy something to test, and some of the gear items that I have recently bought did come with that money. Or if I buy rations that I otherwise might not be able to get, or I get something that I want to have to improve my video production, I can do that with it. So that definitely helps out. I mean, I'm not demanding people give money to me. I have a Patreon, but I don't plug it. It just sits there. Same with my PayPal. That's, the email for that is in the text of my, the description and the about page of my channel. That email for my PayPal is in that text. And, I said my Patreon info is there. I have a GoFundMe in there. It just sits there for anyone who feels like dropping me a little coin through any of those means. It's I'm not begging. It just sits there. I don't actively plug those, but if anyone does kick me a little coin through any of those methods, including the super chat, I am grateful for it, and I use that money to either bring something for content, or to improve video production or live stream, stuff like that. I'll do that. I won't take it and go buy groceries. I won't do that with it. I won't go buying a whole bunch of Pepsi. I'll buy rations. Yeah, that's what I'll do with it. But again, I will review those. If I buy a ration with that money, then I'll review it on the channel, and that's how I'll do that. So again, I want to thank you all for watching, and again, 6 p.m. Central U.S. every Sunday, or at least for another couple of Sundays until Ramadan starts, and then after Ramadan starts, I will go on after sunset, after I break my fast. So I'll still continue to do these on Sundays, but during Ramadan, I'll just go on later. I'd like to keep doing these live instead of just shoot a video and try to upload it, because I think doing it live is more fun. I get to chat with the viewers, just things like that. So that's why I want to keep doing it this way. But I will put up other videos now and then. I got some things that I still want to do that I haven't done yet. But since I won't be at the mosque so much during Ramadan until this big nasty gets gone, I can do some of those other things. So, CT, I was just about to kick off. But anyway, I'll just let you know what I had for dinner. I had a Tuscan beef with cannellini beans, lentils, and vegetables. And I put that over a bed of instant rice. This is the British ginger pudding. And these are Russian peanuts, lightly roasted and salted. And I'll just put another squeeze of this apple butter on this crisp bread. So I have that. This is a Canadian raspberry. And then in my Foreign Marie mug, I have hibiscus tea. So that was my supper tonight. And this ginger pudding that I got from British ORP, that's really, really good. So, yeah, that was my supper. So I'll finish these off. I'll finish off my drinks. And I still have some of the sauce from the ginger pudding in here in this pouch. So I'll probably add that as I eat a few more bites of this. Was that an American halal beef stew, or is that from a British? Yeah, I've had the halal beef stew. Also, that is pretty good. Oh, cool. So yeah, you you pretty much missed it, but in a few minutes after I kick myself off here, if you want, you can watch the replay if you feel like it. And yeah, Foreign Emery dropped that $10 super chat. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kick off here, let YouTube process it, and thanks for dropping in. But 6 o'clock U.S. Central next week, I'll be back on with another random bag. So, and Ration Mashups 2020 continues. And so, thank you all for watching, and catch you on the flip side.